Well, we're back here on the Clearwater River again. Just wanted to try to show you and give you a perspective of how much this river has gone up in the last 3 or 4 days. If you remember last week I brought you down here. It's starting to rain here, but we'll try to get this through. I just wanted to come up and look at the area. If you look down the river here at a place I call Grandmother's Sluice Box, you notice the sluice box is completely covered up. Just to give you a perspective of how much the water's come up, and it's come up 5 feet. That's 5 feet in height. That's doubled its flow in the last week. The weather is starting to warm up. Last night we got about half an inch of rain, which is really odd for around here, but it rained about 0.45 inches in the space of about a half hour, at 9:45 to about 10:30 last night. But anyhow, we were right down in this area, past these bushes. We're right out directly in front of me. I'd get closer, but I can't because the water's so high. But you see those bushes right in here. We were actually digging about 10 feet out into the river from there. And so the water has come up the 5 feet that I told you about, but it's going to come up even more over the next couple days, and I'll just kind of try to show you where I'm at and how much more it's going to come up. There's some indicators around here about how much further the water will come up during normal runoff. And so I'm going to take you right over here, and you can see where the river is down there, but also notice the debris in these branches, like right here. See that debris? That debris was deposited by the river flow, and you can see them all the way down through here. There's some in front. This is how high this water is going to come up. It's still going to come up another 5 or 6 feet up the side of this bank. So the rocks that are directly in front of me here, you can see where the river's at now. These rocks right in front of me that I'm walking toward, those big pile of rock, those will be underwater. And so what I'm trying to get at, and you can see right here where all the river rock is right here. This is deposited here from past year's floods. It's all around the ground here, the river rock. What I'm trying to get at is this water is really flowing fast down through here. So the hole that we dug down here, in which we filled back up with rocks and filled it back in, you won't even recognize that we even dug in that hole. And that's why I think it's really important. I'll walk back over here. Why I think it's really important that you fill your holes back in, because the environmentalist wackos think that every time you dig a hole, you're just tearing up the river. But when you get back here, and I'll bring you back later on when the river's down, you won't even see where we dug. You know, we're coming under attack here in Idaho. You would think in Idaho, places like Idaho, Wyoming, and Texas, you know, we would be one of the last bastions, you know, for personal liberties and freedoms. But, you know, a lot of the environmentalist wackos around here, which, you know, nobody wants to pollute nor ruin the environment, but that's what they make prospectors out to be, is somebody that's just out, you know, randomly just digging up the entire river. And here comes some debris floating down the river now. But that's how they make us out to be. And but in Idaho now, the EPA, the Idaho Conservation League, and all these have basically, you know, this river here you can't dredge in anymore, and you can't even run a high banker here, from what I understand, which is really a shame, you know. And eventually, you know, in my understanding is, in my personal belief is that eventually you won't be able to walk on a trail. You won't be able to have a boat out here that has any gas in it. You won't be able to do anything, fish. You know, that eventually it's going to go that direction. And the ones right now that are pushing for it are actually going to end up digging their own grave, because they won't even be able to be out in it. So what's next? You can't dig for gold. What's next? You can't walk on a trail. You can't ride an ATV. You can't pick a huckleberry. So that's the direction we're going. I am going to walk you down around the corner down here. And I'm gonna show you, look how fast that water, look at the volume of water so quickly if you look at my last video. But I'm gonna take you back down around that corner. I'm gonna show you another hole that I dug up, and I'm gonna show you how that hole fills in. Well, I've walked up the river a ways, or coming around the bend. You can see the river coming around the bend here. Now, where we were digging at before was right down around in there. You can't see it. I can still see where I piled some of the rocks back in. But you can see how fast the river is coming around this corner in the volume. Now, if you look up in these bushes here, you'll see how high that water is going to get, because right now where I'm standing is going to be underwater in a couple days. You see that string of debris in between the branches? That was deposited in past years by floods. Let's see, right in there. That was deposited in past years by floods. Some of these other ones, you know, that's a good 5 feet higher. That is deposited by the current, you know, collecting on the shrubbery. So this is basically, you know, gonna right in here. Okay, I messed that up, sorry. Right in there. So basically this is just where I'm walking right here. Will be underwater right up to this point, so you can see how much higher this water is going to come up. Down in here is an area that I walked you down through earlier. You can see these river rocks, how they're still exposed but will be underwater. But this gets gouged out because the current will rush down through here as the water level comes up, and it will just rush right down through here and into this area here, and will gouge out. And what I like about that is it's a form of redistribution of wealth. It's actually going to be redistributing the gold from one part. It's going to slough off into the lower areas, and so some of these areas here, you know, are going to be redeposited with some good mineral content, and that's what you're going to be looking for. So it's good to come up here and look and see at different stages of the flow, where does the water first slow down at? And that's why I like to come up here. And that's why I think I found so much behind those bushes there, is because you see the water comes around the corner fairly fast, and it's going to come even faster as the river level goes up another 5 feet, and it will slow down right at that bend, and the gold will drop out first. So anyhow, just wanted to bring you up here. Beautiful day. I hope you're seeing this okay, because the sun's starting to shine now. It's sun shining, but it's still raining a little bit. I'm going to head up the river and look at another spot, then I'm going to go home. But you take care, and I'll chat at you later. Okay, now here's a phenomenon that I wanted to show you that is where I look for gold on the river. I showed you a spot down the river down here where it slows down, but I also want to show you this area here. You see these rocks? And my shadow's in the way on some of it. I'll move out of the way. But you see these rocks, they're just bare rocks. This hasn't been dredged, and these haven't been dug, and these rocks weren't just thrown here by somebody. The material that was under these rocks was gouged out probably in the last couple years runoff. And so what you're seeing through here is all of these bare rocks, big river rocks, that are laying here. These at one time had material in, just like down at my feet here. You know, these rocks have material in them. But that material was stripped out. The soil and anything in it was stripped out. The rocks were left behind, and it was deposited somewhere else. So where was it deposited? Well, if I was to guess, I would say that it was deposited down further into the river, and there should be a good deposit of all this material right down in here where these bushes are at right now. So next year, when the waters go down, I will come back here and I will test sample some of this area right in here and see what I find. Well, here's a real popular area along the Clearwater where a lot of people come. You can see evidences of it around here. A lot of the younger prospectors or some of the elderly that, you know, can't make it out to certain areas come in this area. It's like it's between Lenore and Orofino. Normally the water level up until February is way down in there, and there's this natural basalt. It's just a basalt flow that serves as just like a sluice box, and it just collects a lot of gold. So it's replenishing itself right now with this high water runoff. Normally there's a big beach right down over in this area here, a big beach, but it's very steep down into this. Is a very, very deep hole right around in here. You can see evidences as I walk you down here of people that have dug down here and have collected. Actually, you find a lot of gold. Now, where normally the water level is significantly down, but the area that you're looking at right here, if I can zoom in on it, is an area that somebody has, over a lot of years, has dug. And I've actually taken some test samplings out of this, and there's some good gold even this far up above the present riverbed. But if you look up in the hills behind me, you'll also see that there's a river rock another 40 feet above where the present river channel is at. So that tells me that at one time, possibly before Lewis and Clark and anybody was here, that there was some significant water flow or significant differences in the river itself. So beautiful scenery here. It's really a pretty area actually. Does have a lot of evidence of man being here, but you know, when the water comes up and it comes sweeping around this corner here, they will fill in a lot of this. I'll probably come back in a few days and get some test samplings back out of this hole. Looks like somebody's been here just recently. I can see a spot over here where somebody has dug. So if you look down in here, there's just pillars of basalt. These look like ancient flows, and they've just been broken out. You can see one right here in front of me. I'll try to zoom in on it. But that's just a big chunk of basalt. The whole area is a big flow of this. And you get down in some of these crevices and cracks of it, and you'll find some pretty significant gold, you know, 20, 30 colors in a pan load. Not big gold, but a lot of fine gold. So anyhow, that's all I'm going to show you today. Hope you enjoyed this on the Clearwater River, and I'll give you one more look at the river itself, nearing its high river flow of the year. But it's going to come up, and where I'm standing right now will be underwater in a couple days. So chat at you later.